weeding the royal field, which is notorious for its huge size. While the weeding of the royal fields holds significant cultural connotations, it equally casts a spotlight on efforts that are being made by the country to overcome food shortages. His Majesty King Mswati III is on the front line in the war against food insecurity. Calls for the country to have reliable access to a sufficient quantity of food are in line with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal 2, which is about creating a world free of hunger by 2030. During a World Food Summit that was hosted by the Food and Agriculture Organization in Rome in 2002, His Majesty the King noted that any attempt to develop is undermined when sections of the population lack sufficient nutritious food. The World Bank reports that food security declined dramatically in many developing nations in the last 2 years due to the COVID-19 pandemic, climate change, and high fertilizer import prices. The warriors were a marvel to watch at Ngabezweni royal residence, where they engaged in traditional dance before they called it a day. At Ngabezweni Royal Residence, I'm Sandile Makanya for Eswatini TV.
The acting Minister for Natural Resources, Jabulani Mabuza, says amongst other renewable energy projects, the Kingdom of Eswatini is working on the expansion of the Maguga hydropower project. The minister has been speaking when addressing the 13th Assembly of International Renewable Energy Agency held in the United Arab Emirates in Abu Dhabi.
The acting Minister of Natural Resources and Energy, Jabulani Mabuza, has addressed the 13th Assembly of the International Renewable Energy Agency, IRENA, held in Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates. Energy leaders from governments, private sector, and international organizations provided insights on priority actions needed over the next few years, given the 2030 timeline for reducing emissions by half and achieving the UN Sustainable Development Goals. The acting Minister of Natural Resources, when addressing the meeting, acknowledged that energy transition was an important topic for discussion and that it was the right path to assist developing countries such as Eswatini increase the penetration of renewable energy. The minister further highlighted Eswatini's plans in attaining energy transition goals, including the Energy Master Plan 2034, developed in partnership with IRENA, the Independent Power Producer Policy, and the ongoing procurement of solar and biomass generation projects. The minister also highlighted Eswatini's achievements in developing bankable feasibility studies for renewable energy projects, such as the Maguga hydropower expansion projects, which are at the fund mobilization stage. Reporting for Eswatini TV News, I am Samgal Swekhoza with Sikhumbuzo Dlamini, Babane.
Russian ambassador to Eswatini, Alexander Surikov, says his country will bring Russian business investors into the country. Ambassador Surikov also urges Maswat to resolve their differences through dialogue and not war.
Russia ambassador to Eswatini, Alexander Surikov, says the Russian investors will greatly focus on mining and energy sectors. He continues to encourage Maswati to find alternative ways to resolve their differences rather than using violence.
One of the major points of my attention is precisely to bring business people closer, bring Russian business people here on a regular basis, to show them your country, to explain them the possibility to develop some projects in natural resources or in energy sector. We carefully study the possibility of your science and technology park. It's up to the population of the country to respect how to treat, to vote, not to vote, to support, not to support those rulers which the country has. We think, and we, like Russia, respect all peculiarities of the countries.
Ambassador Surikov says the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war is man-made. He repeatedly says Russia is a peaceful, loving state. For Eswatini TV News, Fortune Dlangamandla. With Vuminkosi Nzinisa Mbabane.
The Eswatini National Agricultural Union says despite some challenges on the Ministry of Agriculture subsidy program, but in the year 2022, there was an improvement in the rollout when compared to the previous year, 2021. The Ministry of Agriculture Director Nelson Mavuso says in order for the subsidy program to be smooth, farmers should prepare on time.
The Eswatini National Agricultural Union Assistant Executive Director Nokpiwa Stole says despite the challenges, but the subsidy program ran smoothly. She says some of the challenges encountered include that some farmers could not afford to hire tractors despite the subsidy.
Okay, my challenges lesibe nawo ku-2022 kungaba kungeyona le price. Yebo kona siyabonga kakhulu uhulumende ukuthi usinyusela up to 65%, but lesikubonile ukuthi inqumbi yabalimi bagcine bangakakhona ukuthi bakhona ukubhadala yena lo 4.9 bekasibekele yena uhulumende. Labanye sibabonile ukuthi bese bahlangabetana ukuthi baze bakhona ukuthi banele lokuthi babhadale lelo hectare. Lokunye ke iprice yetigulumba nayo siyibonile inyuka lapho khona abalimi bakhulu betibhidvo nabo bakuvetile lokukhala lokuthi cishe bona ngathi sebenta ilosi nangabe bachubeka basebenzisa le price leseyikhona.
Director of Agriculture in the Ministry of Agriculture, Nelson Mavuso, says the subsidy program will improve if farmers plan a season ahead of the farming season.
We recommend to our farmers that buy the fertilizers, keep them in your storeroom, so that when the rains comes, you're actually on time with your planting. You can only purchase the seeds which expire if they are not kept properly. Also, with regards to the provision of tractors, it is a very difficult situation to deal with. As a ministry, as the providers of the equipment, we actually move the tractors around to the areas of high demand and then move them around so that at the end of the day, it enables us to be able to supervise them appropriately.
During the 2023 farming season, government spent around 126 million emalangeni. For Eswatini TV News, Fortune Dlangamandla. With Vuminkosi Nzinisa Mbabane.
Government has refuted social media reports that government of Eswatini has hired hitmen to kill Maswati. The government spokesperson Alpheus Numalo says government will never stoop so low.
Following social media reports that the government of Eswatini has hired hitmen to attack and kill Maswati, the government of Eswatini have since refuted that and labeled that statement as false reports aimed at tarnishing the country's image. The government spokesperson Alpheus Numalo, in a press statement, refuted the statement on social media, saying government will never do such a thing.
Leti tinto letikhulunywa abantu labaphethwe sidunge ngalesikhwahlande lesingathi sibahambelani laba nebekunene sibuka nje ukuthi solo bachubeka nato tinkulumo tabo lema negative narratives ngelive.
Numalo emphasizes and assures the nation that no hitmen have been hired to attack or kill a Maswati or anything for that matter. He says government maintains his stance that Eswatini is a peace-loving country, therefore there is no space for hitmen or other mercenaries for that matter. Reporting, I am Kian MCB with Vuminkosi Nzinisa, Mbabane.
The domestic trade manager at the Eswatini Investment Promotion Authority, EIPA, Spesihle Nkabinze, says to continue with creating business linkages amongst industries in Eswatini, EIPA will host the second edition of Vuusumnotho Expo in March this year.
Economy, which has taken a knock from the COVID-19 pandemic, and to create business linkages among industries in Eswatini, the Eswatini Investment Promotion Authority, EIPA, in partnership with First Big and the Times Water World Hotel, will host the second Vuusumnotho Expo in March. The domestic trade manager at EIPA, Spesihle Nkabinze, says this year the expo will focus on the access to finance and the development of women in trade.
We are focusing on women in trade and also looking at finances in Eswatini. The main problem we have in Eswatini is the lack of information. So I think what we are trying to bring as Vuusumnotho Expo, we are trying to bring as much information for business people to take informed decision as to what can I access where, who can help me with what, and how can I apply or go about getting that particular service. So our focus basically is to talk to those topics which we think can help the most of the business people to make proper decision in moving their businesses forward.
Interested businesses can contact EIPA and Fastpick offices. Reporting for Eswatini TV News, I am Samgal Suekoza with Sikhumbuzo Dlamini, Sitfogodvo.
Residents of Mthombe area in the Shiselweni region plead with government for at least a footbridge or any means to make easy the lives of children whose lives are in danger when going to school. The children are forced to take off their school shoes and cross through a certain stream when going to school.
Learners who attend school at Egutulen Primary School in the Shiselweni region under the Zombodze Muva constituency are hanging in danger as their only route to school is engulfed by dongas. They have to take off their school shoes and cross the nearest stream on their way to school, which poses danger especially to the young ones. The area's health extension officer, Banele Mtsiniso, pleads with government to intervene as schools will be opening soon. She said they have previously rescued one child who almost drowned while trying to cross to school. We then spoke to microprojects on the plea. The director, Sibusiso Mbingo, invited the concerned residents to come to their offices in the Shiselweni region. The children's safety is their utmost priority as residents. Reporting, I am Kiani Msibi with Smuvashongwe, Mbabane.
The police have arrested 4 men in possession of illegal firearms and being found with live rounds of ammunition. The Police Information and Communications Officer, Superintendent Pindile Vilagati, says many people carry illegal firearms and must surrender them to the police.
As police, we so much appreciate the nation for the assistance they give us in all our operations. As we speak, we have managed to arrest 4 men in different incidents. We have 2 South African men who were arrested in Saliche border post for having been found with firearms, which is a pistol and 17 live rounds of ammunition. We also arrested 2 men from Zevane in Matapa for being found with a 9mm with 5 live rounds of ammunition. So as we continue to see this tendency of having unlawful firearms, we are still appealing to the nation to submit all firearms that are in their custody without documents that are proper. If one is found, definitely we are going to continue arresting them. And we also encourage people to surrender such, and we promise that if you surrender this type of firearm and there's no case against it, we are going to put your case aside for the time being. will continue as police officer to ensure the safety of the nation, as we say in our theme, that your safety is our safety. Together, let us work towards decreasing or eliminating crime and road traffic accidents.
The Junior Achievement Eswatini says Phase 2 of the Out-of-School Youth Incubation Program will be launched soon. JA Eswatini's Communication and Marketing Specialist, Spesihle Mkhonta, says over 100 out-of-school youth graduated from the incubation program last year.
The main intention of the incubation center is to house these young people as they start their businesses, for easy access, for having internet connectivity, and being able to interact with their peers, and also being able to be found in one place. If we have a fund for you, we know that if you come to Nhlangano, you will find them at the incubation center. So this year we'll be recruiting again for that incubation center. And then in the Manzini region, we have started an incubation center at Lutse in Nkundla, where we have set up 60 workstations for these young people. We've recruited the 60 young people, and they're eager to start working, and they're looking forward to the funds so that they can also start their businesses. It's interesting to actually see the excitement in them wanting to change even the perspective that we have of a young person. So yeah, 2023, we are looking forward to even more schools joining the JA program. So if any school wants to be part of Junior Achievement, it is okay to call our offices. You can drop us an email at info@jaswaziland.org so that we are able to respond to your school and it becomes part of Junior Achievement, and you are able to expose your students to what is happening around the world.
Dear viewers, now take a look at our financial updates.
It can be.
Welcome back. You're still watching Eswatini TV, and for sports news tonight, the construction of the Eswatini Olympic and Commonwealth Games Association is reaching its completion. The construction that began in March 2022, which costed around 2.3 million emalangeni, and will be officially opened on the 25th of February this year. Eswatini Football Coaches Association is reminding all members of the association to revisit their code of conduct and avoid tarnishing the image of the association. The association says every registered coach has an obligation following and obeying the rules and regulations of the association and are expected to lead by example. The association revealed this following a recent incident that occurred between Ezulwini United coach Siyabonga Bembe and Musa Mamba, who serves as the association's secretary.
Eswatini Football Coaches Association is reminding all members of the association to revisit their code of conduct and avoid tarnishing the image of the association. The association says in the rules and the regulations of the association, when there is a heated argument between the two coaches during a match, the matter is settled using the rules and the regulations of the tournament the two coaches were playing under. In the case the matter took place outside the field of play, the matter is referred to a disciplinary committee of the Coaches Association that is in charge of issues of code of conduct to deliberate the matter. The recent issue between head coach Siyabonga Bembe and the Coaches Association Secretary General Musa Mamba took place outside the field of play, which means the issue will be handled by the committee. Sources close to the matter reveal that Bembe allegedly attacked Mamba, requesting to find out why is he still not registered, and if so, why is he the only coach not being allowed to sit at the games, while there are many coaches who are yet to register as well, but they are allowed to attend games. The source says Mamba tried to explain the importance of registering, like all the coaches have been always reminded. The association uses a FIFA Connect system to register coaches. Both coaches were reached for comments and requested not to deliberate on the matter. For Eswatini TV Sports, Fabrice Msonera, Mbabane.
That is all we had for tonight, but before we wrap up, we'll take a quick recap of today's headlines. The weeding of Mfabantu Royal Field continued successfully. The Minister of Natural Resources says amongst other renewable energy projects, the Kingdom of Eswatini is working on the expansion of the Maguga hydropower project. Russian ambassador to Eswatini says his country will bring Russian business investors into the country. That brings us to the end of our news bulletin tonight. Up next is the weather forecast for selected towns. Good night, Eswatini.
Sikhulumile bahlonishwa asimiyekeleni aphendvule sitawuhamba se-evotini bahlonishwa
asekube khona lo tawuthi na uhleli phansi ubone ukuthi awu